Thanks for joining the Hoops Hitting Gems podcast. This is episode 27. I want to thank you guys for coming to join the show. As usual, we got another great show lined up. We got a star-studded pack one tonight as well. Again, episode 27, we have a number of people coming on, and we apologize for the little tardiness. We got in the backstage and got to running our mouth a little bit and talking basketball. But, thank you guys for being patient and joining us. We have Coach Crystal Evans from the Academy of Art University joining us first tonight. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, David.
Oh, no, not a problem at all. Thank you. So, as we were talking backstage, I'm a big advocate for women's basketball. And with you coaching D2, I didn't want to just have D1 coaches on. I mean, I love all those coaches as well, but I wanted to get your perspective on D2. I've had some D3s and NAIs on here as well. And we're just going to talk basketball because what I see a lot of times is a lot of people start to watch the show, understand and say, hey, some of these D2 coaches are really knowledgeable. Well, yeah, I mean, stop assuming that it's not a good brand of basketball. And that's why I have you on the show tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk about you first before we get into your program. You have an interesting story. So tell me about how you got into coaching, and we're going to go from there.
Yeah, so we were talking about this backstage in a sense. Coaching was always a dream of mine. I started playing basketball when I was 7 years old. Being from South Central Los Angeles, I grew up across the street from USC. So if you're not familiar with South LA, across the street from USC back in the day were the projects, right? Yes. We used to have to hop the fence to imagine college. It's like USC was just the dream for us, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of girls who hoop, so I'm up there playing with the boys all the time, and you got to be a lot sharper up here in order to stay on the court. Yeah. If you lose, you off, and no telling how long it's going to take to get back on the court, right?
Correct.
So I had to always be the thinker, the brains, where everybody want me on their team because I'm figuring things out, and it carried over when I finally started playing with girls at Rancho Cienega Park in LA. Always played up. My dad is the founder of the Los Angeles Rebels, and he ended up merging with Sherry Pegas, who was over the girls basketball league at Rancho. They're now GBL, and she's still going strong. She just merged with Cal Swish EYBL, and so all that to say, seeing the two of them bring young women from the inner city all across the country to travel and be exposed to different concepts of basketball and just life. Mm-hmm. I knew that's something I wanted to do, and fast forward into the late 90s and we get to see more of the WNBA and it's somewhat still young. My young mind trying to figure out how do I make basketball work for me, but not just to play, like to make money, to really monopolize off of it.
Yes.
It wasn't adding up to me. And so I kept looking at my dad like, Dad, I want to be a coach. I want to be the people like who's really making money, where the more I matured and the older I had gotten, I realized it wasn't just the money. I've always just wanted to help people. I always wanted to get the most out of people. It's probably the point guard in me, but it was always there. And I was telling him this since middle school, like, Dad, I'm a coach. Dad, I'm a coach. And so it was just in me.
But see, you kind of had the cheat code because, we all know Love and Basketball was centered out of South Central LA. But even before Love and Basketball, you had Tina Thompson, you had Lisa Leslie, and like I said, you had your favorite Sheryl Cooper. There was killers that were coming out of USC basketball. Cheryl Miller. So it's been a long history of women basketball players coming out of USC. So I could see why you could look up to those ladies and women that were changing the game. All of them were changing the game in some sort of
but not even just the ones who made it on television, right? Like, I'm a diehard Cynthia Cooper fan. Like, to this day, Cynthia Cooper is my Jesus Shuttlesworth. She went to Locke High School, so it wasn't just about her being the hooper that she was. Like, hands down, she's my GOAT. So it's not debatable for me. But her story was my story. It's like, we know what it's like to really be hungry, literally and figuratively. We know what it's like to be the underdog at a predominantly white institution that's in our neighborhood. We know what it's like to not feel like you belong, but hey, this game is going to save our life. It's not just, hey, this is a career. This is a lifesaver. And so I'll tell you, her autobiography, that saved my life. I was in the 9th grade and my parents shipped me off to Pacific Palisades High School. It's a predominantly white institution. Now I'm coming from South Central. They're busing us there. You got folks following us around at the grocery store. I'm going to my coach like, I don't belong here. And he handed me Cynthia Cooper's book. He knew what she meant to me. And it was the most humbling thing I had ever read, where it's someone I could see myself in who didn't necessarily just make it in the league, but it was so much bigger than basketball. We hold our heads high. We got our chests out. Yeah, you could pump it up to let people know I'm here and I'm here to stay. That was so much bigger than basketball. It was a mindset. But outside of Coop, I'm getting off target when I'm like people that you don't see on television. Coach Rhonda Wyndham. People forget about the Say No League in LA. Coach Rhonda, she was on that USC team too with Cheryl Miller and Cynthia Cooper and the McGee sisters. And I
forgot about the McGee sisters. Yeah.
No, Coach Rhonda. To this day, I still call her Coach Rhonda. And she was never really my coach, but she ran the league and she would check us if we were out of line off the court. She had heard us cursing, or we called an adult by their first name. Coach Rhonda was like, "Who you talking to?"
Yeah.
Who else was around still? Oh, Sharice Smith, one of the best trainers in LA. Coach Sharice played at Cal, and she was on like one of those shows on MTV or something back then. But again, she was someone that we all can see ourselves in, who came back and was giving back. It was a woman who looked like us, who wasn't on television, but she was schooling us the game on and off the court. And those were the people who were super influential. Trish Odom Stafford. Coach Trish is now at North Carolina Central. She went to Westchester in Los Angeles.
Okay.
She's another one who would come back where they see you on the street, they pulling your coattail like, no, we don't operate like this. No, this is how you do this. No, this is where you need to go. I'm gonna hook you up with such and such. It's the hidden curriculum. That's that cheat code you're referring to.
Yes. And it's that network. I mean, to be honest, it's that network. I mean, again, that USC network, not only you got a chance to see it, but a lot of those ladies live by that as well. And you just touched on that. Like, somebody goes out way to the East Coast of North Carolina Central, and they're still going to reach back and give back to the community as well. From an AAU perspective, like you said, your dad is deeply involved in the programs there, and people don't understand how this changes black and white as well. When we get on the court, there's no color. It's a team. And that's what people don't understand. And, it helps you outside of the court as well to be able to move in this world as well, because, some people are just, it gets to the point where people are, sometimes we can live in such a cold world, but when we get between those lines, all that is forgotten about for that 30, 40, 48 minutes, however long, people are playing. And I've always just been big on this because I said basketball can change your life in so many ways. And I've been big on this from an education standpoint, down the athletic standpoint. And like you were saying, I know this is, there's so many opportunities now that weren't had back in the day. And I already see this interview could go for 2 hours. I could talk to you for 2 hours, to be honest with you. But what we're going to do is we're going to touch on the Academy of Art University. Boy, I want you to school me on this, because there's going to be a number of people that are watching this, and they're going to say, tell me about the Academy. It's a D2, D3. I mean, I know, but I'll let you go into this and talk some more about your program.
So no problem. The Academy of Art is an NCAA Division II institution. I always say we're D excellence. I never just add a number to anything we do. We're D excellence. We
like
are
that.
Privileged to coach young women who are part of the 2% from high school to college. And so that's not something that we take for granted. We're in the heart of San Francisco, downtown San Francisco, right up the street from Union Square, like 2 blocks away. I'm right in front of Macy's. It's a beautiful thing to experience. We are fully funded. And for us, that is a true blessing at the Division II level, in the sense that we have 10 full scholarships. And so That helps out a lot. When
on the D2 level, you guys are fully funded?
We are fully funded. And so,
Wow.
We get to take care of our young women, but like I said, it's not something that we take for granted. Our student athletes are the top of the top when it comes to the field of advertising, communications, and media technology. We have fine arts as well, architecture, landscape architecture. I'm always thoroughly impressed with the work of our students here at Academy of Art. Our president, Dr. Eliza Stevens, has done a great job equipping students with instructors who are still in their field. And so your instructors aren't just teaching out of a textbook. They are teaching from real life experiences. And in most cases, they teach to hire. Your final exam literally could be a phone call to a business that they're connected to, where your job interview is your final. That is how hands-on and practical this university is. And so we're blessed here. I always compare us to NYU in the sense that we're spread out amongst the city. Again, kudos to the institution for providing free shuttles to get students from class to class if they don't feel like walking the 10 minutes. Super safe in regards to having a campus host in each building. You got a badge in for each building. And our shuttles even take you to the pier. And so you have that life balance experience here at the Academy.
And just from a personal question, so I'm assuming Academy of Art also has graphic design as well, correct?
Graphic design as well.
Okay. So what's probably the most popular majors at the school?
Well, it depends on who you ask. I could say for my student athletes, we have a mixture of communications and media technologies and animation, ironically. So
wow,
split there. I have one landscape architecture major on my team. Throughout the school, we have a heavy international population where I've noticed a lot who major in illustration, animation, graphic design. Those are pretty popular majors right now. As a female student athlete, that architecture major, landscape architecture, communications and media technologies, just because those are fields that are blooming right now. Our communications and media technology student athletes are going to Giants games and Golden State Warriors games. They're doing play-by-play. They're doing the whole social media, social media creative design. It's literally in your face, hands-on. I graduate, I start a career.
I like how that sounds. That's impressive right there, especially to go with communications. That's a nice look right there. I know my son is big on a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna have to tell him about this stuff as well.
Game development is a new popular one too. We're starting to do some things and really work hand in hand from a EA Sports type of standpoint, bringing in that whole gaming piece. We have the top of the line equipment in every department, and so that game development major, that's one where if I could go back in time, I would have minored in something like that. I love my political science background, but that's an up and coming business there.
Got you. So what is the GPA required to get into the Academy of Art?
So keep in mind, our institution is a private for-profit university. The flip side of that is because we are so practical and hands-on, we offer A degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, right? So the GPA requirement is a 2.0. You really just have to graduate from high school in order to apply to the Academy of Art. Now, the flip side is for a student athlete, you still have to
satisfy your requirements. Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
But the whole admissibility versus eligibility stuff that gets people kind of caught up at different institutions, that's something that's not as major of an issue here.
Impressive. Wow. Okay. I like the way that sounds.
It's the foundation of the school. Most typical artists, if you really think about Western education per se, it's more geared towards liberal arts or the sciences, where students who are normally gifted in art, they're the odd ones out. And think about how many classes from middle school and high school are dropped that are in the arts, And so again, kudos to our president and her family for being able to recognize that void and make this university open and relatable for people from all different walks of life.
Nice. Boy, that's impressive. That's very impressive. I mean, from fully funded to the plethora of computer and designs and programs you guys have. That's, man, and the GPA requirement. And not to say to be lazy to get into the school, by no means, but I do to touch on that as well. Since we're going there, are you test optional to get in?
There's no testing requirement. So it's like SAT and the ACT is irrelevant to what it is that we do here.
Wow. Okay, we're going to move on before I have you on here for 2.5 hours.
Let's just really think about this. It's like we are still a art and design school.
Yeah.
And so there's certain things that's just not relevant. Now, I can't say that those tests don't help in certain fields or things of that sort, but for the main part for us, again, we're talking about holistic students. And so our priority is art and design. Architecture, there are some things you have to do in regards to extra courses that the average student here wouldn't take, like in the math field, right? Yes. Those majors have some math behind it, but it's not a test to get in. Sure. We pride ourselves by having the best of the best in the field, whether it's architecture to sports, and whatever it is that we do, it's our job to meet you where you are, to get you where you need to go, so you're not sleeping on your parents' couch by the time you leave.
Absolutely. I like that. That's excellent. That is definitely excellent. So let's touch back to basketball a little bit. What conference do you guys play in for D2?
We're in the Pac-West Conference. We're in one of the top conferences in the country, particularly on the West Coast. We always have to go through Hawaii Pacific University and Azusa Pacific University. They're historically in the top 5 in the country. And so our conference is very well respected. It's one of the best parts of playing at the Academy of Art, knowing that you're going to be battle tested. You can't take any nights off. I'm sure everyone says that about their conference, but I truly believe that we have one of the top. I mean, stats don't lie. You can Google it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very well familiar with Hawaii Pacific. They're very good on both sides.
All the time.
Yeah, they're very good. And that's a recruiting pitch right there. You get to go to Hawaii at least once a year.
For a week.
For a week?
3 teams in our conference in Hawaii. We have Hawaii Pacific, Hilo, and Chaminade. So we hit 2 islands every year.
Man, boy, I'm so low. I'm gonna have to check to see how much eligibility I have left. Man, so tell me about your roster that you have for this year.
I'm really excited about this year. I'm excited about every year. We started off saying how this is a privilege. And so to be able to mentor young people, that's always something that you just can't take for granted. The exciting part about this year's roster is that the core foundation is a group that played through the pandemic, that rallied around each other and that stuck it out. And they just show how dependable and mature and responsible and how much they genuinely love each other in representing this institution. And so that's something I don't take for granted, where I'm like, this year's team is just near and dear to my heart. On a personal level, each individual is talented beyond, like, it blows my mind. Our roster spans from SoCal to NorCal to Arizona to Spain to England. It's really exciting to see the makeup, how diverse we are, and just how versatile we are. This is probably the most athletic and versatile team that Academy of Art has had in its history. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the coach.
Okay. So, but you're open to, I can already tell with you taking international players, you're open to the East Coast and Midwest players as well, right? Absolutely.
Like I said, I go with D excellence, but at the same time, we talked about having a mindset and what that means early on in this podcast. And I'm West Coast biased. It is what it is. I'm from the West Coast. I said basketball gives me an opportunity to help other women who are in a situation like I was at that age. But at the same time, you want student athletes who want to be here. We're giving you over $40,000 a year. So from my standpoint, I'm not begging somebody to accept a great education. I'm not doing it. It's in a sense of, if we're a good fit and you're a good fit for us, let's rock. If I'm not a good fit for you, guess what? I'm not that selfish person. Like, if David and I, we vibing, but he's like, Coach, There's no way I don't want to be an artist. Your majors just don't fit me. I am quick to pick up a phone and call somebody on your behalf. There's enough food for all of us to eat. That's just my mindset. So when people say they don't want to come and we strike out in our backyard, we look in our backyard first. You have to. That's just respect. That's just loyalty. But you can't be loyal to a fault. You got to be loyal to a point. And when it's just not clicking, you got to start recruiting out. And if a Midwest student athlete is a good fit for our program, our East Coast, and they want to come, well, we want people who want to be here.
Okay. So what was your record last year?
Last year we were 3-4. We only able to play 7 games because of COVID.
Yes.
It was disappointing, but it was the reality of the year. We started 4 freshmen, and it was the first time since 2017 that this program had beaten Fresno Pacific University, and they're a very good team in our conference. It was a great experience for our group to have to play them 4 times.
Wow. Okay.
That was a great experience for us, especially having such a young core to see them on a regular basis. We look at the upside of playing a shortened schedule. When you get to play a team as well coached and as disciplined and just as talented as Fresno Pacific on a regular basis, you're bound to use that momentum for the following year. And so we saw what we were working with. We're able to add some pieces from the transfer portal. Christy Ojai, 6'4" post player, transfer from Delaware State. Joy Krupa, one that we're excited about. She was an all Big West tournament team player last year from Cal State Fullerton. They'll bring some veteran leadership, to that young core that I referenced earlier that should really help us take that next jump in terms of where we are as a program.
Gotcha. Nice. So it sounds like you're big on the portal as well, correct?
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm big on it, but I am big on balance, and so I like to stagger our recruiting classes. We want to have a strong core of high school students, a strong core of transfer students, whether that's the transfer portal, whether that's community college. What I'm big on is what's a good fit. We were talking about, I saw Dre put in the chat about Nikki McCray.
Yeah.
And Pat Summit, she said it best. She wasn't a good fit for everybody, and everybody wasn't a fit for Tennessee. And that's something I believe in for our program, especially being so unique within our majors and how we're situated within the city. You have to have a us against the world type mindset, survival of the fittest, and I'm here for a reason, not to be here.
Okay. So I know you said you're on the portal to an extent, so that lets me know you are big on bringing in high school for your kids and grooming them as well.
Absolutely. I'm not knocking one set towards another. It's really just how does all the pieces fit? Everyone has a story, but if we can get a high school student athlete where they can grow for 4 years and develop with you for 4 years and build some chemistry with you, that's always fun, and again, a transfer portal, it's always going to be there. You could always kind of pull somebody here, pull somebody there, it just has to be a good fit. I trust the young women we have from our portal, from the transfer portal this year. They've been great. They've been great in the locker room. They've helped our young people out already within the first 2 weeks. The portal has been good to us since I've been here. Our first year, we were able to get Taylor Bennett from Rice University. Taylor is now the #1 player for 3-pointers made in a single season at Academy of Art. She only played with us for 1 year. She was only able to play 1 year for her eligibility and transfer situation. But Taylor made 83s in a season, and she set the tone for the type of players we go after in the transfer portal. She was originally from Long Beach, California. When we got her from Rice, she came in and she took to heart what it means to be a legacy builder. You go to a program where the institution from an athletic standpoint is still in its infancy. Why not come with a mindset of I'm breaking records? Like they're newly formed baby records. And she came in and she did that, and 2 records. So she made 9 threes in a game, and so Pam Wilmore was another one from New Mexico State. They were our first 2 transfer portal players. Pam had 15 assists in a game. So my expectations are pretty high for the transfer portal based off of my experience in it so far. We've been pretty blessed here.
Absolutely. But I mean, there's so much that plays into that. Like, it sounds like it's an excellent school, but they're so open because, a lot of times I meet coaches like yourself, but they're up against the wall where you gotta have a 3.2 or 3.5 to get in. So that makes that tough on them to recruit as well. Or some don't take JUCOs, or some, there's so
David, I'm sorry, that's a choice. I'm not saying it's not challenging, but that's like me sitting here saying it's hard to recruit for an art school. It's like, oh, we're gonna have a liberal arts major. Like, no, you gotta adjust to what it is that you're with. I coached at 2 UCs, and I will never use academic rigor as an excuse.
Yeah.
You can't pay me to believe that there aren't 15 women with a 3.0 or higher GPA that could hoop.
Absolutely.
Give me a phone. Let's make it happen. Like,
I agree.
Easy money if you commit to it. I committed to recruiting for an art school. So I'm not, oh my God, I can't find the next Picasso. I don't even know who Picasso is, but I could I recruit to be excellence. You are going to leave here with a job. If I have to call a sword war to get you an internship, the biggest part of college is the hidden curriculum. Teach these young people how to network and not be walking textbooks. When you start teaching them how to be robots, then we have all these kids calling home every 2 seconds talking about mama, daddy, help me.
Exactly. I like what you said right there. And you just said something I definitely want to touch on. And I know the answer, but I would rather you say it. So when I finished my 4 years at the Academy of Art, and I say, coach, I want to coach, but before I coach, I want to get my master's. Can I come back and be a GA?
I wish. We can't have GAs yet. We're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
We have a master's program, but as a department right now, we don't have GAs. Now, think about D2s, the money is a lot different. And it depends on your department and how they're funneling things. One of the things that we prioritize here is getting kids out, with as close to debt-free as possible, right? And
Correct.
So for us, most of our bachelor's degrees aren't regular BAs, they're BFAs, Bachelor in Fine Arts. And so that's an extra 12 units there. So one of the things our athletic director has done a really good job of is advocating for aid for summer school. And before that, he even had a 5th-year program where those were the closest things to a GA, where 5th year where you need some of that funding, they were giving money and people were working games or shadowing coaches. Now, one of my student athletes who had a similar situation, coach, I want my master's first. I do want to get into coaching. First thing I had her do was get connected with Rising Coaches.
Rising Coaches Association, yes.
She went to a couple of conferences there. We went into the WBCA website, pulled up all the different jobs available for GAs. Again, everyone has to eat, right? So writing all these letters of recommendations, have her put me down as a reference, had different people looking over her cover letter and her resume. She was hired, and she said, so she didn't get her MA through us, but we helped her get her MA somewhere else.
But you know what? That's magic to my ears right there. If you just said, okay, we don't have, what you're looking for, but you used your network to get her where she needed to be. And, that right there, that would sell. I'm big, like I told you about this podcast, of preaching not only basketball and education, and of course, women's basketball as well, but also that's why I ask these questions, and you're knocking this out of the park by your answers, because a lot of times people don't even know to ask these questions when they go into recruiting, unfortunately. And that's why I'm so big on this. And your answers will be clipped and will be put on the podcast, on the Twitter and Instagram page, because it's important that parents hear this. It's very important. And I thank you for those answers. But let's touch basketball again. What type of offensive set and defensive sets do you run? And what type of recruit is an Academy of Art recruit?
I love the language you just used. You said sets. Only sets I believe in are the ones online when I pledge. But real talk, we recruit playmakers here at the Academy of Art. You got to be able to make a play. Now, we teach you how to play the game of basketball. We don't teach you plays per se. And so we are big into read and react. We are true to dribble drive. It doesn't mean just run and gun. We really study the science of dribble drive basketball. If you are to run some sets, you're looking at more like Iverson type sets. We'll try to spread you out, get you off of a couple of zippers, but we have fun with it, a lot of film. And so an Academy of Art prospect, coachable, and coachable. And it doesn't mean every day is going to be a good day or that you're a yes person. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that you are committed to being pushed to the fullest, to being dependable to your teammates, to being a great teammate, and just being a student of the game. Because at the end of the day, we want you to be the best you. The best Crystal isn't the best David. And so a prime prospect for Academy of Art is someone who is open and willing to being pushed to be the best them and who wants that for themselves, I'll tell you, every Tuesday we start practice off with a game of 21.
Okay.
Call it Get Tough Tuesday. A game of 21 where folks just really got to go out there and make a play. I told you I grew up in the projects, in that sense of things, hooping wise. It's like, you got to go get it. Now, if you get a rebound, you better go get a steal. I don't care if you got a back tip it, whatever. So we split the court. They play 21 on both ends, and then the last two standing, they play head up, one-on-one.
Absolutely. I like that. So on defense, how important is it for a young prospect, freshman prospect, to come into your program and know the shell drill?
I'm going to say it's more so important to provide ultimate effort in the shell drill. I'm not going to even say you got to fully know it. Just have ultimate effort in what it is that you deem shell. Because I'm starting to learn more and more. Shell drill is not necessarily taught at all levels, surprisingly. And so,
yes,
110% effort. Effort is the biggest thing, more so than coming in with having a high IQ. We're going to teach you. It will be great if you have it, if you know it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your knowledge. But the players who know how to do it and don't go hard are the ones we have more problems with than the players who are clueless but goes hard every single day. It's hard to be the person who doesn't quit. It's easy to be the know-it-all who's lazy.
That's a great answer. That's probably the best answer I've had on that one. And it was a different perspective because I've never heard. Usually we have people like, it is a must that you know the shell drill. But your reasoning is, boy, I can't even deny that. I mean, yeah, because basically if you're saying if you have that high IQ and you're that nice, there's a reason why you're not a higher level, correct?
David, cones don't move. So you might know every drill in the world, but then when it's game time, you're blown by.
You're right.
You have some effort and some instinct. Natural instinct helps us more than anything.
Absolutely. So tell me about, and as we, I hate to even, as we're getting towards the end, tell me what you're expecting from the team this year. I mean, I know you got some transfers. It sounds like you got some good ones as well. But I know everybody's goal is, you want to get to the D2 tournament and you want to go far. I totally understand that. But your personal goals for your team, that's what I like to hear.
For us to live up to who we say we are. Everything you said is a given, but people jump too many steps. As a team this summer, we read Jay Billis' Toughness. And he explains the epitome of toughness from several different perspectives, whether it's celebrities, athletes, you name it, but it was the toughest people you could possibly think of. And from that standpoint, our commitment to ourselves as a team and what we expect of each other is to be fully committed to outworking our last rep and outworking yesterday. We do that, the wins come. The wins come. And so I expect for us to live up to who we are, be women of character, be women of integrity, be women of work ethic. No one is going to outwork us. You really have to beat us. Okay. You got to beat us down. And it's going to be really, really, really difficult. And if that's not the case, then we'll be disappointed in ourselves. I didn't say we'll go undefeated. I didn't say we'll win the championship. You're not questioning our effort or our toughness and how we define that.
Gotcha. How do you define toughness?
It's literally when you are at your lowest point, your point of doubt, that you're still even keel.
Okay.
When you think you at your lowest point, you're still even keel. It's like you're not even entertaining that doubt. You just trust the work. You trust the work. You know, that vulnerability to look at your sister and just like, we work too hard for me to start questioning myself now, or questioning my team now, or questioning my coaches now, or questioning my instructors now. You know, for us, that's the epitome of toughness, is to really trust your work. You know, and that's some soul searching there, David, because then you got to be honest with yourself. Like, did I really put in the work?
Amen. Amen to that. And, you know, a lot of people can always ask themselves, did I really put in the work? But if you go back and watch that tape and you see where you could have done better, you know what I mean? Then not only do you question yourself, the thing is, what do you do next? Do you get back in the gym after a game? Do you get back in the gym on the weekends or on your off day to get to what you're trying to accomplish? Correct?
The first thing you got to do is take ownership on whether or not you did it.
Absolutely.
That's the hardest hurdle.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because it can't always be you to point it out. You have to see it for yourself as well. Because you could point it out, but I may not understand it.
That part.
Yeah, and you could be going crazy like you're doing it over and over and over again. Sometimes, like you said, not only does it take ownership, but it takes you watching that film over and over. So you can say, oh, I see what coach is talking about. But the ownership is, are you going to do that?
The most humble and vulnerable thing you can do for yourself is to ask, am I the teammate that I wish I had? And if the answer is no, then that's when you start doing the work, if you really care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coach, let me tell you something. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I see why you're a head coach now. Because remember I said when I did my research, I was like, man, you moved up pretty quick. And I could see why. I definitely could see why. Thank you for coming on the show. This is definitely one of the top 5 or 6 interviews, hands down, men or women. And I thank you for coming on the show. This will not be your last time coming on this show. Believe me.
I appreciate it, Dave.
Look at Dre. Look, Dre trying to mess up my show.
That is hilarious. I love it.
But no, we're going to have you on again. And like I said, when I finish the show, I do need to contact you because I knew something was wrong. Because I was like, hey, I got a 2022. You're like, oh, no, we're done with them. I'm like, Jesus, okay.
You know what? We always go a year ahead. And it's something we take pride in. I'm just so grateful to the young women and their families who truly believe in what we're doing here. And since I've been here, knock on wood, we have yet to sign somebody in the regular sign-in period. We've always signed people in the early sign-in period. We have yet to have to sign up anybody in the spring.
You never signed anybody late? And that speaks volumes in itself. Wow.
I'm so grateful. You know, the school speaks for itself, but we really pride ourselves off of building relationships with coaches, families, persons of influence. You know, it takes a village. And when people believe in you and your vision and what you're doing, and most importantly, our players are our best recruiters. You know, I give it to our players, you know, and it's not something that they're selling. When you don't have to sell something and it's you telling the truth, it speaks for itself. And we've been blessed here.
So you know what? And thankfully we got a little bit more time where, you know, we could talk some more. Let me ask you this. So, you know, when we're talking backstage, you said, you know, your dad, you know, was one of the premier AAU coaches, you know, EYBL out there, correct?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, you know, we all know, and you were saying it without me having to say anything when we were backstage, you know, as far as training. Now, do you go out on the EYBL circuit and the Under Armour circuit and try and get your players, or do you recruit in a different way?
See, I don't recruit by logos. Now, I will put it out there. I'm a product of Cal Sparks basketball. Albert Kennebrew is another father to me. You know, something that happened to my dad, Albert's the man to walk me down the aisle. Like, that's how blessed I've been with coaches in my life. But the reality is, even Coach Albert will tell you, don't recruit to a name on somebody's chest. You got to recruit to how they fit within your program. And so I've watched EYBL. I've been all over Under Armour. I love independent programs.
I was just getting ready to ask you that.
The mindset that comes with it, And so for me, it really isn't about necessarily what's on your chest. It's really what's here. I have a small group that I could trust to pick up a phone and like, hey, can you really tell me about such and such? And they could be from another program. I'll put it out there. Let's just name drop. Ray Caldwell is the man. You want anybody in Texas. It doesn't even matter if they don't play for him. He's going to tell you the truth. California, whether it's easy for me to talk about Coach Elbert, but he's going to tell me the truth, whether it's his program or someone else's. Any JUCO coach in these different areas, most of them are pretty honest and they understand the grassroots feel along with the professionalism that comes with Division II. It's a combination of the two. JUCO coaches are able to help you out a lot. And so I've just been really, really lucky to have some good people around me across this country on different levels that will pick up the phone. They know what we're about. They know what we're trying to do. They know my personality and my temperament to recommend players that are a good fit for me in this program.
I will be one. Trust me. I will definitely be one. And what you just said, it rings such big bells to me because, you said you're willing to go out there on the independent circuit. A lot of the big coaches feel like if it's EYBL or Under Armour or Adidas as well, that's where they're looking to get their people. But as you know, there's some gems in independent that people miss out on. And man,
David, one of our X factors this year, Alicia Wilson. She never played club. She just jumped a 10-3 on her first try.
Where'd you find? I mean, was that networking?
That's strictly networking. She never played club. I trust my eyes, and I said our players, if they have to trust the work, so do us coaches. I trust the work I put in. I trust my eyes.
Exactly. So great point you just brought up. And let me ask you this. So when you get a networker that never played club, do you go see her personally or do you invite her out to the Academy of Art to see from there? What's your next big move? Because I know so many people, I know some people that risk their job and offer sight unseen. And I'm like, oh, that's a death sentence right there.
No, see, I'm old school. You got too many people that's with these apps, even with dating now. They'll just like, no, I need to see underneath that mask. But
okay.
So, if all jokes aside, though, my first big move is to meet them where they're most comfortable, right? Let me see you in your comfort zone first. So I want to go to that open run. Actually, Now I'm not gonna tell you when I'm coming. One, I'm gonna go early too, so you don't even know that I'm watching how you walk into the gym. I'm that person.
So you want to see characteristics outside of playing as well?
I really do, because at the end of the day, when you get to the next level, everybody can hoop. So it's like I need to see those intangibles that make you different. What really makes you different? In LA, we always say we're built different, we're made different. But this is where we really get to see it. Are you the one that's too cool for school with wristbands all over yourself, your high socks on, and your name across your chest, like see me, and you can't even make a layup? Or are you that person that just come in, black shirt, black shorts, I'm just here, and then you just busting everybody up? That's the person I want. That just let their game speak for itself, And so you meet them where they are first, and then you see that, and then let me go ahead and watch a couple of games and then get you to practice. Get you on campus. Ellis Barfield's another one. He's great at it. You go to Linwood High School, those kids go through a full-fledged workout before they play open run.
Let me stop you, and I'm always a little somewhat emotional when you mention Linwood High School. I don't know if you heard of Ernest Killam. Shout out to him. I'm from Pittsburgh, and we played out in Las Vegas, and we played Linwood. That was the first time I saw a guy. I was like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? We can't stop him. And God rest his soul, he went to Oregon State and he passed away. But, anytime someone says, Linwood High School, much respect to Linwood and, to his family, definitely shout out to Ernest Killam.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You naming the legends right now.
Oh, no, I felt that legend.
You naming the legends right now. But again, it's where they came through, Jason Hart just had an interview with Baron Davis when he was explaining this. When you have to go through old school Crenshaw's, Westchester, Fairfax, you're going through the city on a regular basis, Talk about Jordan rules. If you're a hooper, you're not complaining. It's just expose or be exposed.
Yes.
That's what you normally see in pickup. Like, I'm a big fan of pickup. I told you we play 21 for some of our practices, like to start it off. That's when you really get to see what people are made of.
Absolutely. And, that tough and grit, like I said, you're a hands-on coach. And like you said, one of the golden rules is you want to see with your eyes. And your eyes will be able to detect that toughness, that gritness. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, in your mind, you can coach that if they have that. Like I said, they may not have that every skill, those cone specialties, they may not have that. But if they got that hunger, like they trying to make it out, you know what I'm saying? And when they trying to make it out, it's by any means necessary.
There's a difference between I want to and I have to.
Absolutely. That's a clip one right there, bro. It doesn't get no more real than that right there. And a lot of these kids are, I want to no, I'm sorry, I have to, because mom and dad is paid for it. You know what I mean? And I want to this is my way out.
There's a desire, but it's it's a way to look at this. Your must has to outweigh your wants. Anybody can want to do something and I have the desire to do what it takes to get there. I want $1 million, but I don't want to work for it.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
You gotta put some action into that. And so when your must, you turn them once or I could or I should into must, it changes your whole narrative,
Absolutely. Excellent point. But you can see it. You can absolutely see it. And when you see that in your eyes, I already know if I was your assistant, I'm like, this is the type of player she wants. I see it. You know what I'm saying? Not only I see it, I feel it, how bad she wants it. You know what I mean? Then it's, hey, I know somebody that we need to take a look at. She may not have X, Y, and Z, but what she brings to the table and toughness. Here's my thing, that grit and determination that you're talking about, 9 times out of 10 will wear a team down in the fourth quarter.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm glad you said it because we didn't touch on this, but here at Academy of Art, we have embraced 40 minutes of hell. And I know you know where that came from.
Yes, indeed. Arkansas, Nolan Richardson.
Okay, and so shout out to Coach Nolan Richardson. My teams every year watch the documentary on Nolan Richardson. We do. I told you we watch a lot of film, not just regular your game film X and O's. We watch documentaries on hoop. And we don't touch the ball the first 40 minutes of practice. So I wasn't joking with you when I said it's a mindset and mentality we recruit to here. Okay. And the players, once we start playing and we can start seeing the other teams starting to starts getting hyped. It's like, yo, this is what we were waiting for. We have another gear in us, but it's also just a feeling of we're sitting on someone else's shoulders with pride because they've seen the documentary and they learned all about Nolan Richardson and what he represented and how many doors he opened for others who look like him, who work at predominantly white institutions. You start taking your opportunity to heart. Like, here I am, whether I'm a person of color or not, and being in this game and knowing what others have sacrificed for us to be here, it hits different, even on that floor. And my players, they get off on it.
You know what? I know look, you see Dre commenting all day on the side. We're going to mess around and be out of the game this year. Trust me, because your mentality is the way we talk our AAU organization. It's the same thing. That's why when you said that stuff, we're talking the same language. And, some of the kids that tease me, we could be down 10 points. And we call a timeout because we just cut it down to 10 points or whatever, and there's 8 minutes. I'll look at them, I'm like, we're right where we want to be. And they used to look at me like, what? Because you can see the other team, they're starting to get weak. You can see it. Now, our kids may not see it until the next time out when it's down to 2 or 3 points. Now they're excited. I'm like, I told you. Now let's take it. Let's take it.
Much bigger than basketball, and when we start embracing it, and it's instilled in you from day one.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a bend, don't break attitude.
Absolutely. And even if you don't win, they know they have to play to the final whistle. There's no taking breaks. Like, even the coach will be like, you guys play to the last whistle. And that's one of the biggest compliments you can always get. Always.
Absolutely.
So, listen, we went almost an hour. Look, I had to tell one of my other guests, hey, man, I'm sorry. We'll get back next week. But, I mean, you were cooking. I mean, as you were cooking on this one. And thank you so much. Listen, you send us your schedule because we want to see this for our eyes.
Absolutely. I really appreciate your time. It was great meeting you, and shout out to Dre on the side, keeping me entertained in the chat. Anytime we hope to see you at a game. If not, we'll definitely see you on that live stream for sure.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. And, I just want to thank you again. And parents, if you get a chance, watch this again on YouTube, this clip. She definitely dropped some jewels. And, Coach, thank you again. We'll definitely be talking probably after the show. So I definitely appreciate it. You have a good one, okay?
You too, David.
All right. You take care. That was Coach Crystal Evans. My gosh. I said one of the top 10 interviews. That was definitely one of the top 5. I mean, we could have went another hour easily, and I'm not joking. My next coach, my man, I mean, he's creating opportunities for a lot of kids here in Atlanta, as well as Georgia and South Georgia as well. We're going to talk about some important things that he has coming up. My man, Chris Cameron, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Dave?
Man, old girl, Coach Evans was cooking, bro. I was like, I can't forget about you, bro. I know you got some stuff you got to do, man.
Nah, it's cool.
Man, one of the big things, as you know, from the day you started the HBCU camp, man, and, I asked, could I be a part of it? And, I appreciate you letting me be a part of it, just to scout it as well, and to see this thing grow from infancy to where it is right now, man. Congratulations, number one. Definitely congratulations.
Appreciate it.
And, I love to see where it's going. But I also wanted to bring you on the show because, man, look, I've been talking it up in other states. Like, hey, man, y'all got to get down here and check this out, because this is something that is going to create a lot of opportunities for people to be seen that have never been seen, especially on the HBCU circuit as well. So, man, we're going to talk about your HBCU elite camp, man. You go ahead and talk about it some, man.
Well, like you said, man, I mean, it's just another opportunity for kids to have a platform to be seen. And then for the most part, the biggest goal that we're trying to accomplish with putting this camp on is to bridge that gap, with elite level players in HBCU programs. Being a former coach, coaching at an HBCU, I've actually had the experience to kind of see how sometimes these programs are being treated, or just even having the situation where, man, I can't get out to see everybody like some of the other programs.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have the staff, or maybe we just don't have the budget, compared to some other programs that may have a big recruiting budget. So it was always hard. And, I've been out of coaching for like 7 years. So it was a lot different now compared to how it is now with so much social media and things of that nature. You could still be kind of in the loop a little bit, but back then it was more so like you got to try to get to the right events, and then you can't be at all the events. With a lot of more events are going on now, so it's a lot better. But so we took that in consideration, trying to be like an assistant for these programs, somebody that they can reach out to about players, and we'll try to, funnel some kids their way, or just let them know what we saw at the camp. If they can't be in attendance, we let them know what we saw so they can get a lead on some of these kids. And we've had some great talent to come to this camp. I mean, it's really unbelievable the type of talent that we've had attend. I'm not sure if what people are thinking, what coaches are thinking, but it's not like, because I get it. When I was coaching, you would have guys call you about players, and maybe that player is the 4th or 5th player on the team, and maybe he can help you, maybe he's not going to help you. But people trying to get their kids in school, but a lot of times we're asking for at that Division II level. I know we're asking for, hey man, we need your best player, or your second best player. We don't, we need that kid that's thinking about going to Mercer, and maybe he's not going to fit in their system good. Maybe he can come in as a freshman and play here compared to going to a Division I and sit in the bench for a year or two, or maybe like more of a powerful Division II school. Like, we need that kind of player coming to our program. We don't need that fifth man or that sixth man. And so I don't know if people think that those are the kind of kids that come to the camp, but it's a great opportunity. You've been there, you've seen it. I mean, we've had and my biggest thing is we're just trying to provide the platform. And I don't know how guys think, but my thinking is if we can get you in front of some of these kids, they see you, you see them, you get a chance to mingle with them a little bit. You get their information, they met you, they see you. That's big nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't call a kid. I mean, they'll be appreciative that you called them, but it's not like them seeing you in person and saying, hey man, I got a chance to meet the coach from this school or that school. I talked to him, he liked my game. That's a little bit more personable than a phone call. So it's an opportunity to connect with these guys at camp, and maybe get on these guys early enough. That's the thing I look at. Get on them early enough. If you lose them, you lose them. But this is a platform for you to see them. And I give you a perfect example real quick. Derek Harris from Mitchell County.
As well as I know. That whole story. And, shout out to Dre, because Dre was one of the first ones to really put him out on the platform. And, man, it exploded so fast and so crazy. Like, to watch all those coaches, and then it was like, man, he went from unheard of, like you said, to Sports Illustrated doing an article on him, man. I mean, how crazy was that, man? And it's a testament to Atlanta and Georgia as well. Don't get me wrong, but it's also a testament to platforms like you provide as well, because you run into those type of kids where, I mean, it's Mitchell County, and don't a lot of coaches go to Mitchell County, but once he was on that platform, it was too late. They was on the highway then. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chris? He might have froze for a moment. He'll be right back. But just to touch on his camp while he comes back, the HBCU camp is an amazing opportunity for a lot of kids that aren't able to get on certain platforms, like the Derek Harris kid that he mentioned. Derek was unheard of, and his whole being spotted was amazing. And once he was able to get on a platform, all it took was for one or two people, like a Madre Allen, to see him, and he took off. And what Chris is doing with this camp, Chris is taking it to a whole nother level with the boys and the girls side. Can you hear me now, Chris?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah,
okay.
I apologize about that.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. So what I was saying is
before you.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, we're talking about Derek. Go ahead. So
okay.
We're going right to what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was just saying that he's a kid that I knew personally because he's from South Georgia. I knew him. He came to the camp as a junior. Played well, but he didn't play exceptionally. But here's the thing: when kids come to camp, this is what I look at as a scout. I look at what are they doing on the floor, how they moving around on the floor. And if you would have looked at all those things during the camp, maybe he didn't shoot the lights out like when he got going in the summer, going into his senior year at all the AAU tournaments. Maybe he didn't shoot the lights out, but man, this kid moves good, has a real good stroke, got great size, plays hard, athletic. So those things alone, I got to take his name down, and I got to start following him. And I got to start reaching out to him, and I don't want to jump on him too late. A kid like that, some of these schools could have got on a little earlier. I'm not going to say they would have had a 100% chance to get them, but you kind of made, you know, it depends on your relationship with the player, you know, because it got to a point for him. It got to the point for him where it was like University of Georgia has reached out, you know, so it went from low to high quick. But University of Georgia, so, you know, some programs could come in and just build a relationship and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Some programs may even feel like they don't even want to try to, but you never know until you reach out. So he's one of the kind of kids that, the kind of talent that we have, you know, I tell coaches all the time, we have talent from JUCO all the way up to Division I, mainly mid-major. We haven't had too many high major players come.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've had guys that, you know, like George Pritchard from Roswell that end up going to Jacksonville. Jeremy Price kid from Hiram that signed with the Citadel. You know, these kids were at the camp, you know, so it's a great opportunity for, you know, your NCAA and schools that these kids want to go to Division I. Well, at these kids, you know, we live stream the event. So you just kind of tune into it to see what you like, who you like. You know, then you reach out and say, hey, can we get the information? Blase, you know, that kind of thing. But for the most part, it's been going well, man. We've had a lot of kids attend. A lot of kids are now playing college. So I like to reference that the kind of kids that come to the camp, they're going to be college players somewhere. So as a college coach, we encourage you to get out, you know, come and see these kids. A lot of times you probably have seen them, especially if you're in the Southeast, if you're in Georgia, you probably have seen a lot of the kids. But we do get kids from multiple states.
Yeah.
So we may
I remember your first year, you got the kid from Florida. I forgot where he ended up going.
5 or 6 different states.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
weekend.
So one of the other things, Chris, I wanted to touch on, because you've reached out, and I'm glad you started to do this. Say it again.
No, I didn't say anything.
So one of the things you touched on, Chris, that you're doing, and you did it last year as well, you have the women's side as well. And I think that's big, and where you're going to have some of these girls, the HBCU coaches, come and look at some of the women as well. Touch on that as well, man.
Yeah, so it's the same concept. And then, you know, even for the women's side, you know, we just think that there's a space there for there's just so many high school athletes out here. And for the most part, Georgia does a phenomenal job covering men's, boys. I mean, you got so many organizations, so many scouting services here. And so they do a great job covering boys, but a lot of people are not really talking about women or girls. And so we thought that, you know, it's another opportunity just to try to help. You know, our whole goal is to try to platform and try to help some of these schools, you know, reach these kids. So last year was the first year we did it. We had about 40 girls. We had a few girls to sign that attended the camp. We had a few girls that actually got noticed at the camp and ended up getting opportunities from the camp. And then there was some other girls who had already been recruited by other players that came to the camp to get some additional exposure or to try to connect with some different coaches. So this year we're looking to do the same thing. We got pretty good lineup of girls coming. And so, again, we're just trying to build it up. You know, it's not where the boys is right now, but it's definitely a commitment that we're making to try to build that as another opportunity for girls, and not just in Georgia, but throughout the Southeast that's trying to connect. Mainly we're saying HBCU programs, you know, but to be honest, you know, this is open for, you know, we don't want to discourage the opportunity for any kid. So, absolutely. But we try to give HBCUs an opportunity to come in and feel comfortable about, you know, coming to an event where they feel like a lot of the kids that are signing up, they know what kind of event it is. So they may be more open to coming to an HBCU, because I noticed on the AAU schedule, circuit sometimes when I was coaching, even now when I watch, you know, I mean, most of the players tend to look at different schools from different leagues, you know, and sometimes they may overlook HBCU, you know, because you got a variety of schools, especially when you have on the line period and all the Division I schools are out. It's just like, it's almost like some of these schools, HBCUs or small divisions, because they're looking at levels that they'll never get to when they should just be looking at, you know, the different possibilities you could play at. So that's kind of the reason why we started the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask this, man. So will this event be live streamed as well?
Yeah, it'll be live streamed on SUV TV. And the good thing about that, you know, yeah. So, you know, they do a great job with covering. And thing I tell the kids all the time, you know, you get a chance and get your game, get the links to the game, watch your games over, you know, see your games off to different coaches. It's quality streaming, so you know you get real up close and personal, and so you can take this opportunity and use it for not just the camp, and then that's done. You know, the camp is over, but I still got my game film, you know, and I'm looking at some of it to learn from it. I'm also passing some of it on to.
So let me ask this as well. So let me ask you this, Chris. So the next big thing is college coaches that can't make it will also have access to the stream as well, correct? It looks like Chris is having a little bit of issue with his audio. We'll see if he can come back. We got a couple minutes left. So just to let you know, the HBCU camp, like I said, it's going to be this weekend. That is going to be the date of August 18th and August 19th. I'm sorry, I said August. Jesus, I'm a month behind. September 18th and September 19th of this weekend. So Chris, I was asking, can the college coaches access the live stream that can't make it?
Yeah, they can access the live stream. We just ask all the college coaches register online at collegehoopsconnect.com, and then / HBCU Elite 100. You can go there. You can find out where the college coaches. There's a link there where the college coaches can sign up, you know, for the live stream. Okay. And that'll come directly to an email, and then we'll get all the information and get it out to them.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds so it's a great platform for coaches throughout the country that want to check out some players.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And we appreciate you bringing me on and your support, you know, over the years, your support.
Oh, anytime, man. Anytime.
Of the program itself. And, you know, we get together, we talk about different things. So I appreciate what you and Dre are doing with your program here.
Anytime, man. I mean, anytime you see something that's productive and it's helping kids.
I don't want to let too much out the bag, but, you know, we really got.
I didn't hear you say it again. I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Say that one more time, Chris. I didn't hear you. Repeat what you just said.
So we got our summer camp. 2022. Yeah, so we got our summer camp 2022. That's going to be our invite-only camp.
Okay.
It's going to be our invite-only camp.
Okay.
So.
And it's going to be in the summer, or is it going to be?
Yeah, so we got our summer camp, national camp every year. That'll be the one in Atlanta. And that'll be, I think, in the summertime. It'll be invite only, so the guys will come in and yeah.
Okay. That was like the one you did at Core 4, right? That's the one like you did at Core 4 this summer.
You know, so it'll be, you know, kind of on the level of some of the other, like, you know, national camps where where they have it at a certain time.
Okay.
Kind of like the
Gotcha.
CP3 camp, kind of like the Nike camp. Yeah,
Okay.
but this one will be a little bit bigger. First of all, it'll be invite only, so you get invited to them. It'll be some workshops going on. Some for that camp. And that's the national camp that we're gonna host next summer, 2022.
Okay, sounds good. Hey man, well I appreciate you coming on, man. I just wanted to let our listeners know that this is a big platform that you're creating for HBCU as well as other colleges. I don't want people to think that it's just restricted to HBCUs. It just gives HBCUs who don't have the budget to travel all over the place to come see a wide variety of prospects at one place. So, and
Exactly.
I thought that was a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea that you came up with. And I do like Chris said, I do want people to understand there will be other colleges there other than HBCUs. I don't want people to think, oh, it's HBCU only and won't be other schools there. There will be other schools there. And there's usually a great turnout. I mean, I can speak on it from both perspectives as of, scouting the event as well as being a broadcaster for SUV TV for this event. I've been fortunate to do it on both ends, and it's been a quality event and it's growing as well. And the national event next summer will probably be a big one as well. So, man, I just want to congratulate you, man, because you're doing a great job of growing this, man. Definitely congratulations. You still there, Chris? So we lost him again. So, again, I just wanted to bring him on, even though he had a small couple audio issues. That's fine. I want people to go to that, go to Twitter and just type in on the search HBCU Elite 100 Camp. It will pop up. It is for girls and boys. Girls are on the 18th, boys are on the 19th. Again, definitely check it out. And if you want to register, hurry up before it gets filled up. An excellent event. And, I just thought it was important to bring him on the show to talk about it. Dre, I'm gonna bring you on for a quick second, bro, since you've been hot on chatting. What's going on, brother? Oh, well, I can't bring Dre on. My man Lenny's here, so we're gonna go right into the next guest. Coach Lenny Williams from Woodfield Hopkins, very well respected coach out of Savannah, Georgia. He coaches the high school team. How you doing, Coach?
Pretty good. Can you hear me?
Oh, man, I can hear you perfect, man. Hear you perfect. Unfortunately, Chris, we had a little issue with Chris's audio, man, but I hear you perfect, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Hopefully Chris can give me one of them players that he's talking about.
There you go, man. You always trying to grab somebody, man. There you go. Man, so, I wanted to bring you on because one of the things as we're getting close to the high school season, I've started to bring on high school coaches to talk about their program. Ever since I met you this summer at the Voorhees camp, man, I definitely respect what you do and how hard you coach your kids, man. And, a lot of people, Savannah has some really good players, and you go out of your way to get your kids seen. And that's what I respect about you because, a lot of times, like we were talking earlier, you have kids in some of these areas in South Georgia that are, unfortunately, they're not getting the exposure, man. And it's unfortunate. And, you do your job by bringing them up to the GHSA camp. Like, I see you just as much as a lot of some of these Atlanta coaches because, you out there hungry. And, I respect that, man. Whenever I see it, respect is given. Man, tell us about Woodfield's Tompkins program, man.
I listened to part of what Coach Cameron was talking about, Chris, and the recruiting game is real hard. You've been in the business a little while, but I'm from Atlanta, so I understand the political side of it. I understand where kids and players need to be at the right place and right time to be seen. And I really believe in our culture of putting my players or any player in Savannah, or in our area. We call it the Low Country and the 912, but on that platform. And coaching goes beyond just walking on that court every day.
Absolutely.
And I think people lose track of that. They yes, I'm here to win games, but I'm also here to promote my program and of course the culture that we provide in Savannah. And I believe a lot of people just think AAU is the only way kids can be seen.
Nah.
And now with the elite camps coming up and the right people running these elite camps, I think I'm quick to put my guys in the van, I call it. And we travel to Atlanta. Like we're coming up for SEBA soon.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, I got 7 players.
Okay.
And we load up and we go. Atlanta is, and I want to make sure I stay political, and not political, but you got to know how to run your program under the right rules.
Yes.
And if I got to bring, if I want to bring 7 guys to an event and I'm not there, at least those 7 guys are playing together. I believe my 7 guys are going to benefit just as much at those elite camps than AAU. Because yes, because with Savannah, and my kids aren't playing in Atlanta. If my kids was in the Atlanta metro area and a couple of surrounding areas, yes, they would benefit more from AAU. But our kids can't travel up there every weekend.
Yeah,
playing an AAU event, and they can't travel to North Carolina. They can't so we have to provide a platform for them. I have to, for my program, to where they can be seen and be recruited. And that's what we have at Woodfield. We have that culture of passion, love, sacrifice, grit, and business. We're at the end of the day, we're here to take care of business.
Okay. And there's a reason, a lot of people would disagree with you, but as of getting to knowing you and understanding the way you move, I would not dispute what you said. And there's a reason being because, as you know as well as I know, you're taking your kids to team camps to be seen. You're taking your kids to some of the best individual camps preseason. And we all know, let's just be honest, GHSA was one of the top 2 team camps in the country. Between Georgia and Texas had the best 2 camps, plain and simple. And, to see almost 200 coaches there and your team right there in the midst of it, you are putting your kids in the right platform to be successful and get seen. So yes, that rivals AAU 100%. Now, like you said, is it nice for them to play AAU if they can make it every weekend? Sure. But like you said, your kids can't make it every weekend. Or sometimes they can't even make it for live period, those 3 or 4 weekends in a row. So the next best thing is what you're providing, man. And, man, I'm just going to say it, man. You're one of those high school coaches I respect because not only are you doing this, like a kid that is able to do both, my gosh, he's in an excellent situation playing too. But unfortunately, there are some, and I would never name any names, but there are some high school coaches that don't do what you do, man, unfortunately. And that's the thing, like you said, it's bigger than wins. Don't get me wrong. Everybody want to win, absolutely. But it's also about changing lives, man. And that's what you're doing, man. And, when I started bumping into you, I was like, hey, man, he's taking these kids everywhere, man. And, that's how we got cool because I was like, man, I see you everywhere, because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, man. It's not just about, okay, well, it's about my program and I got some wins. Okay, the season's over. I'll see y'all in October. Nah, it's bigger than that, man. This is, as you know, this is a year-round hustle, man. And I see you, you come up for AAU events when your kids are playing, man. So that's what people don't understand. And sometimes I get frustrated because people have to understand this is not no part-time job. When my season's over, okay, I'll see y'all later. You have to invest in your kids, not only for 4 years, but 12 months out the year, man. I mean, plain and simple. And, when I called you, I was like, man, I need somebody else that, I know would be good. And you came to mind, and, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's just something I wanted to talk about because, even let's just go past this. And I want to get some more of your perspective, man. Like, even for recruiting, we know all the players are not D1, man. Like I said, I met you at Voorhees, man. You were at the NAI camp, man, and shout out to Huff running a great camp as well, man. But, people don't even take, it's either D1, sometimes not bus, or, okay, I'll settle for D2. No, man, it's NAI, it's D3, it's JUCO. And then let's take it even stronger. It's not just JUCO D1, it's JUCO D2, JUCO D3. It's where you fit in, man. And, a lot of people take that for granted, man. And that's why, when I meet coaches like you and Huff and a plethora of others, man, I make it my business to get to know you guys, because I know when you guys are promoting a player, not only is he being coached the right way, but he's getting an ample opportunity to get on a platform. And, me and Dre will do whatever we can for you, man, because we respect what you do, man. I just thank you, man. I definitely thank you, brother.
Nah, thank you. Thank you as much. We've had two very, very good players out of my last. I've been at Woodfield 4 years total, going to my fifth. And I mean, of course, everybody knows of Preston Crisp and Bernard Pelote.
Yeah.
I still to this day don't see how Bernard Pelote got out of the state of Georgia. 6'7" guard that's lighting up Division II, and
that's a whole other topic right there.
Exactly. I don't have much of a filter, but this is why guys get fired. And for this guy to get out of Savannah is a different story too. But I mean, here's this kid playing at Wake Forest last year on national television, and Bernard. Catawba knew they had Bernard, and because they knew nobody was coming down here to recruit him. But the reason Bernard kind of went that route is because Bernard and I bumped heads one game, and I say, you know what? Take the offer, take the offer. And of course, a couple more words came out of it, but he's in his environment.
Yeah,
he's loved. It's not about just going D1.
It's a fit, man.
It's sick. And some of these people who are in these kids' ears, and that's why I wanted to go to Huff's camp first. We all respect Huff. We love what he does. I've known Huff from the St. Francis days, and soon as he threw the camp together, I was for that because I wanted my kids to see a different avenue of college basketball.
Absolutely.
We went to a D2 camp. We went to an NAIA. We went to a HBCU camp. We went to a D1 camp. So I want them to see all levels in the aspect of you. And then, heck, the Georgia basketball coaches camp was damn a Division I camp, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
And
absolutely. Those players were phenomenal, man. But real quick, doesn't that give you a way to what you saw at GHSA? So when you headed back down the road, you can say, hey, guys, now you see the work we got to do.
You know what? You hit it on the button. We had, after our first night, we went back to no, this is a true story. We went back to the hotel because I was disappointed. Or maybe it was the second night. And we had a team meeting. And I said, guys, just to make this story real short, I said, you know those two main courts? They were like, yeah, coach. I made them stay all day. We were in a hotel. I made them stay all day. I said, how many of y'all stand up believe you could play on that court? A couple of them stood up. I said, how many of y'all could play on those teams? A couple of them stood up. I said, how many of y'all believe you could play on that court every game? And then that opened their eyes. Yeah. And I said, that has nothing to do with your talent. That just means we got to go to work.
Absolutely.
And I said, that's where we want to be. Mm-hmm. And most people took that camp as, oh, we weren't playing on the main court. We weren't playing on this. We weren't playing on that. No, take advantage of your opportunity.
Absolutely.
And that's what all I want for my guys is we're going to load up. We're going to go wherever. We don't care who we're playing. I mean, our schedule is loaded, and the last few years has been loaded. And we've always played in Atlanta because, again, It's almost like New York City. Atlanta's the Mecca of Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in order for a college coach to really, really consider one of your players, I got to go play different teams. But what I've loved more about is the love of the game that you guys with the platform provide, but giving my guys the opportunity to go out here. I mean, nobody knew about Jonathan Pickering.
Man,
until you saw
him. Man, yeah, he can go too, man.
Hey, and this is the funny thing is everybody bringing out all these rankings and never seen this kid. And I'm thinking,
again, I'm gonna hold my filter on that one, man. Don't even get me started on that one.
So, but one thing I love about my team that what I enjoyed from this summer is I didn't even have 3 starters the whole summer. I didn't have my 6'6".
One was hurt, right? One hurt.
My 6'6" was hurt. One of them was not there at all, Lucas Platoon, and then Zion Powers, my leading scorer. So I'm still sticking in games with only 2 starters. No, actually 1 starter and a 6-man who is going to be our star. So I love where I am.
I mean, the experience you got, man. I mean, you just named you went to an NAI camp, a D2 camp, an HBCU camp. You went to a Division I camp, and you might as well say 2 Division I camps with GHSA. And man, I mean, because like you said, the athleticism and the talent that was there was so next level. There were a number of kids that got Power 5 offers there, man. It was insane. I mean, like I said, you were there watching even when your team wasn't playing. And there was times where I was broadcasting, I was like, look, I was trying not to be a fan because I was like, man, some of these kids are next level. And, one of the things, and I know you're going to agree with me on this, man, one of the things I took away from GHSA, did you see the Centerville team from Ohio?
Oh, yes.
Man, I loved that team.
How the way they played.
Yeah, yes. I love the way they play. And that's where, like Centerville, and you know who else I give a heck of a bunch of credit to because the way they played was Coach Stroud from Druid Hills, man. The way them kids play, I want kids to see, if you want to play in college, you got to play like this. If you don't of course we saw some of the incredible athletes, some of the top 50 kids were there. Sure, we saw that. Listen, you're not that guy, okay? You're not that guy. But if you can play how these kids are playing, that's how you'll get your way and you'll earn your way into college. And like I said, without me even saying anything, like you said, you took them on the main court and then you see some of the kids, some of the kids will be like, he next level, and you have to come to grips with some of that and say, okay, I need to work hard, or what are you going to do? Because these are the type of killers people have on high school teams. And if you're not ready for it, or quote unquote, if you're not going to play hard, you're going to get exposed.
And that's it. That's what I preach to my guys. And what I love about being down here in Savannah is that the key to what you say, these are hidden gems down here.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at the kid Bass at Windsor.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of them. How are you not sitting in that gym every day with that kid? And
if he was in Atlanta, it'd be a different story.
It'd be a different story.
Say that, man. It'd be a different story because it's insane. I love that kid. I was like, this is crazy.
That kid's a top 10 kid, easily. And but again, we're trying to change things down here. Now that with me being down here for 4 years, we have coaches down here that have kind of mirrored what I've kind of started doing. But again, we want our kids playing on all platforms. I want my kids playing on all platforms. And our reputation speaks for itself at Woodville. I mean, before I got there, I don't even know if anybody knew what Woodville was. I truly don't.
I didn't. But everybody in Atlanta knows now, and that's a credit to you. You know what I mean? It's a credit to your work ethic that you put in because we see Woodville all the time. You're doing what you need to do to get them in front of eyes. And so once you're like, oh, it's this Woodfield team, the first question, where are they from? Oh, they're from Savannah. Now it's second nature. We say, Woodfield, that's Lenny. We know Lenny's up here somewhere. So we already know. So it's like, you gave those kids a chance, man. To be honest, I've always wondered why Savannah doesn't have an event. And I don't want you to take your filter off, but Savannah has enough talent to have an event, a high school event of caliber. Let's just put it like that. Because, let's think about it. Savannah, Florida's right there. South Carolina's not far. Push come to shove, if you run an equality event, Atlanta will come. And especially if you got players, man. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's missing. Like you said, you have opened up some things for Savannah. And I think my next thing for Savannah is, Savannah, where's your big event to have college coaches here? You got the Bass kid. If you had, and there's, not to say Bass is an elite player, but there's other, like you said, gyms down there. Like, I don't know. If it was just promoted, you agree?
100%. And it needs to start being a team, like when I say team aspect, but a culture aspect down here.
Yeah.
And I think we need someone down here to say, we want this for our kids, not let's see if we can make it work. No, if you want something, you'll go get it. It's got to be a passion. It's got to be a hunger. And I don't think we have that down here. Yes, we have quality basketball, but at the end of the day, why am I going? And again, I don't mind this. Why am I going to Atlanta for everything? Why am I going to South Carolina for everything when we have the same stuff here? And you're right, Atlanta will come down here.
If it's legitimate, they will come. If there's coaches, like Dre said, if there's coaches, there's players. If there's players, there's coaches. Plain and simple. And even if it's not on the high caliber level, like let's just say you had an event and you can say Savannah State's going to be there. Valdosta's going to be there. South Carolina State is going to be there. Thomas University is going to be there. A couple of the NAIs from Florida, a couple of the D2s, and a couple of JUCOs. You're going to open some eyes. We're going to be like, hey, what's going on down there? And I don't think that takes much for Savannah to generate that and get maybe one or two local businesses to throw their names up on a tournament or the love of the game, hoops, hitting gyms. But but no, seriously, man, there's a lot of talent there, man, for it to go unnoticed.
Yes. And one thing I love about my program is my school.
Yes.
I can't do this without my administration. I cannot. My principal, Mr. McGuire, my AD, Kevin Brown, they give me the keys and say, start it up.
Yeah.
And you need that support, wherever you go. And, we don't have football. So with this state-of-the-art new gym right now that we have, which is phenomenal, it's well overdue. Each day when I walk in there, I'm like, wow, this is not Woodfield no more. It's like, Dorothy, you're not in Kansas no more, but there's expectations behind it. I have to win. Yeah. But the other part of the expectations is they appreciate the things that go on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And they check on me, coach, everything good? How you doing? And this is not even during the school day. So, I run things by them. I just don't make decisions. And then again, our kids and our parents love the things that we do. So, I'm fortunate to have done this for a long time. But what I'm not pleased in is the fact that a lot of our stuff is starting to get so watered down.
Yeah.
To where, and I want to say this the right way, to where it's hurting our kids. And when I say that, we have a platform like you. We know basketball, but there's a lot of and Chris was on here a minute ago. he has a event that is a high level event.
Yes, he does.
But a lot of these cats around here are throwing these events and just throwing things out there, and they're getting watered down. And that's the issue that the college coaches are having.
Yeah.
Is the fact that, okay, I've already heard about this, you know, it struck me the wrong way. Now let me try this. And so I just, you know, it comes to the point where that's where Savannah hurts when you have these small communities and we're trying to do our events. They're gonna be like, look, I don't want to waste my time going down there when I could just go to Atlanta and go visit 3 or 4 or 5 schools instead of going to 2 schools in Savannah.
So, okay. So let me ask you this, Lenny. So does Savannah have to start small?
Yes. And you need the support of your local colleges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say that,
Yeah.
you know, it's very hard to throw events and stuff when your local colleges aren't there. And you know who's doing the big things is Brian Berg at Georgia Southern. I talked to him 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And he's quick to come on the phone. Hey, coach, how can we help you? I've known Berg from years ago when we went to men's Final Four together a couple times. And when he first got this job down here, I knew it'll change heads. But he's even getting in the Atlanta market and going out there. He's been out there all this past week visiting players.
Yeah.
But I respect that, but he's always said, hey, what can I do for you? What can I help with? Do you want to come up here and watch something? So that's Georgia Southern. Now I need Savannah State to do that.
Yeah.
I need, and Huff's doing it. Huff said he's coming down to visit me, I think, in a week or two. So now that is on live and he texts me that he has to do it now. So, but that's my guy who would text me and be like, hey, what about this kid down here? Reggie from Young Harris came down here. How are all of these schools, Lander, Catawba lives in our backyard. Omar from Lander's calling me. So we have the support, but we need the locals to live in our gyms to help us brand that support. Because once Savannah State get rolling with some of our players, now they can be like, what the hell's going on in Savannah?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this is just an idea. You know, would it take outside of open gym, maybe all the schools getting together and coming to Woodfield Tompkins and then having the coaches come then?
Yes, we've talked about that too. Kevin Evans from Groves and I and Chuck we did that kind of like last year. We threw something together for some of our guys. We threw it together at the rec center. But you hit it on the button. That's what we're gonna have to do. And I know it can happen. I know it can happen. I was looking to do that this year myself, but then I took a step back because as much as I want it, I wear many hats in the district.
Yeah.
So I'm at the middle school and I'm the middle school athletic director. Then I'm coaching volleyball as assistant coach in volleyball. Then I got basketball. So when I was texting you today, I'm like, I'm just in workouts. You know, even though I'm coaching volleyball, hey, my guys are still coming in the gym after that. Yeah. So with that being said, I got to watch my time as well. And I'm a dad. So I'm in Atlanta. My son lives in Atlanta. So that's why I kind of go to Atlanta every other weekend or every 2 weekends. But it's bigger than basketball in Savannah. I think Savannah's rich in basketball. That's what I've learned when I got here. Yeah. I mean, Reddick, from South Atlanta, heck, he's from down here. Yeah. And was one of the top players back when he played here. So I think we can do this. We need people like you to come down here and start.
Man, listen, man, you know, if you call me, man, and you know, if you see me in Voorhees in Denmark, you know, I'll come to I'll come to Savannah, man. You already know.
You do. And I mean, it's great. Even like Sharman White came down here about a month ago to see me and him and his family. And I mean, it's just building that connection. Alan from Milton comes down here with his family for vacation. And we all, it's a bond. But again, it's growing that bond just in case I need something in Savannah. I might have an event. Now they might help me out marketing that event.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm here for. It's for the kids.
Yeah.
You know, I can care less about my coaching record now. No, let me rewind that. I do want to win, but it's about our guys. Like our second game of the season's at Norcross, in that double trouble invitational.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you guys are playing in Lemon Street again, right?
Huh?
Are you guys playing in Lemon Street again?
No, we actually we're playing in the Savannah Classic, which we do have down here, and we're at TOC at Wheeler.
Oh, Tournament of Champions at Wheeler. Yep. So the Savannah Classic. Okay. Educate me some more on the Savannah Classic, man.
Well, it's been around for years. It actually has. It's a well-known tournament that took a hit last year due to COVID.
Yes.
But I think the year before that, I think we won it. But all of the teams in Savannah actually play in it. And there's 2 divisions, boys and girls, 2 divisions. And I mean, you have teams from South Carolina come, from Florida that comes. We had what's the team? South DeKalb came down a couple years ago.
Okay.
When Eugene Brown was playing.
Yeah.
So I want to see more Atlanta schools come down. I want to see a round robin. I don't want to see a tournament. I think the tournament aspect of it. Let's not sugarcoat the tournament aspect of it. You're going to have your top 2 teams in it from Savannah for revenue reasons.
Yes.
But if you're doing a round robin, you can still put those top teams in Savannah in that round robin and have them play each other and still make that gate. But more of a round robin would bring the smaller cities such as Troutland. Troutland will come down. That's got good basketball. Atlanta, a couple teams from Atlanta, bring them down.
You know that's going to bring a gate because anytime it's Atlanta, you know.
You do. So I think it needs to be more of a round robin now in this day of age.
What's the dates on it, man?
It is starts on a Thursday, December 16th, December 17th, and December 18th.
I think I can make the 16th possible. The 16th is that a Thursday or?
Yes, that's a Thursday.
Okay.
And you have and it's almost mandatory that we all play in it, and it's a support for the community.
Absolutely.
We love it. We love it. But again, I want to see more of a round robin where it's almost like Savannah versus everybody else.
Oh, like bragging rights.
There you go.
Yeah,
and that's that. Now that to me is better because I'm sorry, I don't think Johnson wants to play Groves. They're in the same league. I don't think Windsor wants to play Johnson or Groves. They're all in the same league.
Yeah.
So doing that is just, you don't want to play somebody 3-4 times a year. I want to brag against Atlanta. I want to brag against Jacksonville. I want to brag against Charleston.
Yeah, to see where you guys stand against these other teams. Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I love all these things. I'm an Atlanta guy, so it's not like I'm throwing Atlanta under the bus or anything. I just like seeing my coworkers come down here, play an event outside of Atlanta, and don't have to go to Washington and all these other states.
How far is Jacksonville from Savannah?
An hour and a half, 2 hours at most.
Oh man, yeah. So you all can have Jacksonville Reigns and Reebok there. Absolutely, yeah.
And Charleston's an hour 45.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach is 3 hours.
Yeah, you can end up having. You can have Sakatsi there, definitely.
So that's what I want to see more of from the Savannah Classic. Now again, that's above my head. They do a good job. They really do a good job with the Classic. Our administration and the athletic department for district do a wonderful job putting on this event. But I think it should be more.
It could grow.
Yeah, I think if we're going to do it, let's do it real big.
I agree. I agree.
And but other than that, I truly enjoy being down here. I truly enjoy our district, our school district. Our superintendent is actually a basketball nut, Dr. Levette. So I think her dad was a coach back in the years at Savannah High.
Okay.
So Savannah's rich with basketball, and that's what I want people to know and see and respect from us.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And man, we haven't even touched, before I let you go, man, we got to talk about your roster, what you got for this year, man. I know you've already told me, but, for coaches that are watching, man, this is a platform for you to say, hey, we have this in Savannah, at least for them to at least take a look on YouTube or Huddle or whatever, man. So tell me about your roster you got for this year.
Well, it starts with my 2022 6'2" guard Zion Powers. He's our leading scorer, returning, a freak athlete, but has developed his skill level. Zion's a quiet kid, but high academic student, but he got hit with COVID at the end of the year last year, so he missed the last 3 weeks of the season.
Wow.
But he was our leading scorer all the way up through until he sat out. But he's definitely NAIA, I'd say Division II player. Get around in the right program.
And so I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be one of my questions, since you said he's high academic. So any of the UAAs, because if he's high academic, that's definitely something that could be entertained. Even the high academic D2s, like your Embry Riddles, places like that. But we'll talk some more about that off.
And then you got a 6'4" guard, Lucas Platoon, who's coming back. He is our third leading scorer returning. Lucas can play the 1 through 3. He is got a high basketball IQ, can shoot it. Lithuanian, but he's from Savannah, basically. He's grown up here. And again, he's a steal for colleges at his size, at his playmaking ability, at his shooting. He's in many of the clips. He's getting bigger, faster, stronger each day. He's still growing. He's always touching his knees and things like that. But he's high academic. He's a 3.8 student. So
any AP classes?
I didn't hear you.
Any AP classes?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's all we have.
Okay.
At our school.
We'll definitely talk some more, because when you have kids like that, one of the big things, Lenny, I've been saying, for these kids that are of that stature and caliber, there are places out there for them. You know what I mean? But we'll talk some more about that. Tell me some more about your other players.
And then you got 2023 AJ Ross. He's I call him a killer. He is a kid that can just score in bunches. From mid-range, I think that's his best game. He loves the deep ball, of course, and that's what he's known for. But I think his mid-range is very hot. He can play the 1 and 2 at 6 foot. But he's still learning the game under my voice a lot of the times. But he's a very special kid that a lot of people know about. He's our second leading scorer. And then you also got our big post player that you didn't get a chance to see this summer, Wes. He's coming off of surgery. He's 6.
That's the one you sent the film on, right?
It might have been. He's 6'6". He's 2023.
I think so. I'll take a look.
I think it was. It was. Mm-hmm. He's just getting back in the gym. We're still rehabbing him, making sure we bring him back slowly.
Yeah.
So he's an old school post. He's gonna
back
bang.
to the basket.
Oh yeah, he's gonna bang. He's gonna hit you with the hook. He's gonna hit you with the duck up and under. He's gonna rebound. He's gonna crash. He's a tough kid. And then you got our point guard returning, Jules Sproul. He came off the bench last year. He's the one that led us in scoring all summer.
Okay.
He has another gear I want to see. Very special player. He's like an outside player. He's gonna go play street ball. Okay. And so you see it in games, that swag, and that's what I love about him.
Okay.
And that rounds out a little starting 5. And yes, I didn't mention Jonathan Picker, and we're bringing him on slow.
Yeah.
I think he will be. His dad's about 6'5", and he's long. He's still growing. I love his upside.
Oh yeah, he's still developing. You can see it. You can see he's still developing.
So I love this team, and I love this roster. Where I'm glad about this summer. What happened to us is our bench. Of me knowing our bench, me seeing where we are. I try to let people understand. I mean, we should have been in the region championship last year. We had to forfeit the region semis because of the fact of COVID.
Yeah.
And so we went in as a 3 seed in the state playoffs. And of course, we weren't really a 3 seed. And so everybody was, when we played Northeast Macon, they thought it was an upset. And that was still without my leading scorer and AJ Ross. But we play good basketball, and I like this team coming back next year. I really, really do.
Okay.
But we got some work to do. This schedule is not fun.
Man, you picked the schedule, man. You definitely picked the schedule. So I know some of your kids are like, man, can we get one off game? But you'll be ready come regionals. You'll be ready.
Yes, and that's what we're preparing for, because hell, I look at it here. Groves is Groves. People don't understand how good Groves is. Groves High School. Mm-hmm. Kevin's got those boys rolling. Then I got Johnson. Then I got Chattahoochee. So my first 4 games is, if I can go even 2-4, I'm damn coaching the league. I mean, I just got to remind people we're playing for the region championship.
I hear you, man. But you know, your method, man, there's a method to the madness, man. And, you know, I always tell people, see them in February.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See them in February. You know, people may question what you're doing right now, but in February, then they're like, oh, coach got them playing.
Yeah.
And that's why he did this. You know what I mean? And, you know, I mean, we already know about this. The biggest thing for you, man, is just getting your kids' names out there, man. That's the biggest thing. You know, it shouldn't be once they get to make it and people are asking, who's this kid? You know, if you're fortunate enough to make it, you know, and hearing about him for the first time. Why am I just hearing about this kid? Well, Lenny been up in Atlanta 4 or 5 times. How could you have not heard about him by this time? You know, but the fair thing is at some point, us showing some love to Savannah when Savannah has that event that turns that corner. You know what I mean? And that's not a knock to what Savannah's doing right now. But as you said, if they step up and have teams from Charleston, Jacksonville, other Florida teams to go with the Savannah teams, and you throw in a Warner Robins, a Macon, or, you know, an Atlanta team, now you're talking business. Now you're talking business. And then you have to look at some of those coaches, we won't go there, and say, you're crazy not to be at that event with that type of talent there. Whether it's NAI, D3, D2, D1, man, there's going to be some players there. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be some good players there. And I think if you're the one that does it, or if the coaches get together and do it, I think it's just a matter of time. And if it's tweeted out by even a couple of these recruiting services, I think you can't help but have a quality event, man. I think you're heading in the right direction, man.
Yeah, and I think what helps now with my situation is we have a facility.
Yeah, a nice one.
Yeah, before we didn't. I mean, we had the resources, and we did what we had to. Mm-hmm. We played games, we enjoyed it. We enjoyed our little gym, but now you have the resources where people want to come.
Yeah.
Now we can house people. You know, now we can host regionals and things like that. So you'll see it coming. You'll see it coming. Even after I retire, you'll probably see it coming.
I hear you. I hear you. But hey, man, if you built something, then they gotta put your name on the court, man.
Man, the scary part is, from what I heard, they don't do it until you die. So
that's true.
I ain't trying to die. I'm still trying to buy a boat down here. You know, I live by Hilton Head too. You know,
I love Hilton Head because there's a restaurant I go to, Hilton Head, all the time, that has the crab legs. Man, I go crazy down there. Yeah, I love Hilton Head. That's one of my favorite spots right there, man. I'm just not too keen on all them alligators down there, man. That right there, they got to do something about that. But man, man, it's been a point to get you on the show, man. And I thank you for coming on, man, because, you know, what you're doing for Savannah basketball, as well as the other coaches, man, those kids they're definitely getting a great opportunity, man. And I appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me. And I knew you kept saying, I got to get you on. And you came through. You're a man of your word. But
just be patient, man. It's coming, man.
No, man, everybody's busy and you do a tremendous job, man. It was great getting to know you too. You forget, we move around so much and forget.
I know.
Important, like a lot of people are important in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
And without you guys, without you and Dre and all you guys, man, y'all a phone call away, and people underestimate that.
Yeah.
And I don't for sure.
Man, like I said, man, I appreciate it, man. And, one of our big things, man, is whatever we can do to help, man, because as we know, you a phone call away. Like I said, I call you and be like, hey, man, can you come on the show? And you're there. You know what I'm saying? And those favors always have to be returned, man. You know what I'm saying? If you say, hey, man, I got this event and we can make it to Savannah, man, we're there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, I ain't housing Dre's bill. I ain't housing Dre's bill. And Huff already got me. Sharman already got me. Y'all housing you.
You got to talk to Dre on that one. He like to live plush, man. I'm just a regular guy, man, but he like to live 5-star, man. So you get that bill, man. Trust me, you can get that bill. But, man, Lenny, man, I appreciate you coming on, man, because, we can sit up here and chat it up all day, man.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things, man, the biggest things about this, man, this just shows what Georgia's supposed to be and not just Atlanta, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we wanted to get to Savannah. We want to get to Augusta and start showing these other places like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, Atlanta, like you said, Lenny, is the Mecca. But we got some places outside of, quote, the Mecca that can go.
Macon, Augusta, you hit it.
Yeah.
Macon and Augusta.
That's my whole point, man. And, that's what this platform is for, to show not just Atlanta, to show, man, there's some ballers in Savannah. There's some ballers in Albany. There's some ballers in Valdosta. And this is not just football.
Mm-hmm. And we appreciate you, brother. That's for sure.
Man, anytime, man. You already know. Well, in the next 2 or 3 months, I know I'll see you a number of times anyway. But, man, this won't be the last time you're on the show. You already know that, man. And, like I know you're a phone call away. I'm a phone call away, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, brother. Y'all be safe tonight. I'm going to eat my ice cream, man.
All right, man. You take care, Lenny.
All right, you too later.
All right. Man, that's Coach Williams right there, man. A good friend of the show, man. I mean, that's one of the coaches where if you're a parent, you definitely need to consider sending your kid to that school if he's in your district, because he's going to do whatever he can to make your kid successful, not just on the court, but off it as well. Hey, this has been a wild show, been a great show. We had one guest that we missed because he was running late. And when we ran over with our first guest, because she killed it, he already agreed to come on, and we appreciate that as well. Coming up next week, we got some really out of this world news coming up. We're just trying to close it out, and we'll let you know in the upcoming days what we have going on for next week. We also have another NBA talent that will be coming on the show to talk about, his journey as well as what he's doing in Missouri as well. So stay tuned for the next up and coming weeks. We got some really good shows coming up, and we appreciate you all coming on. And as usual, we'll check out. Thank you for tuning in.